Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Plenty of Manchester United news to get through today, including Gary O'Neill, who's being linked to a coaching role at Manchester United. We want to know your thoughts and opinions on that one, Reds, because we will discuss some of your comments in the live chat today. But first of all, Kobbie Mainoo earned plenty of plaudits after the game for England last night and this morning. I know you watched a little bit of the game because we was texting each other back.
Yeah.
So what was your thoughts on Kobbie Mainoo?
Watched little bits of it. I thought for the first full international debut, I thought it was proper, measured, assured performance. Plenty more to come from him. My only worry is that people will want to rush him. I've gave it before, a conversation about Kobbie Mainoo. Young lad, needs to be treated carefully. Serious injury in the summer. So really, he needs to be treated carefully. So I temper the future of Kobbie Mainoo. You can see it's there, and the performance he did last night for England was a good performance for his first full debut. So there's plenty more to come from him. I just wish that people would sort of slow down with him and try not rush him. Hopefully that will happen.
He's a very mature lad though for his age, considering the spotlight is under here for Manchester United, now for England. Hearing rumours, reports that sponsorships are wanting to get on with him, like Nando's, etc. But you can see more and more of that happening. So about the people he's got around him as well to keep him his feet on the ground.
Yeah, it's the everyday pressure of life, what footballers have to put up with. There's a lot of things to distract you. You know, going along with sponsors and lots of things there. His pay rise will jump. Many other things will jump within his life. So I just hope that he keeps his... And he does, and like you say, he does look as though he's a measured lad. He's like mature and all that. So I just hope that in the future he keeps that way and it doesn't get sidetracked. That's my only...
To Wolves head coach Gary O'Neill about a role in the potential new coaching setup at Old Trafford. Sources have told ESPN. With Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos Group now in charge of football operations at United, following the completion of the purchase of the 27% stake in the football club.
Yeah, I look at it and I just say to myself, United, you wouldn't expect any decisions from Brailsford and everyone else like that to be made until all areas of the football club have been assessed proper and due diligence have been done. And it's right that Man United look at people like Gary O'Neill, great coach, his staff what's with him. He came into Wolverhampton Wanderers. I thought the club was in carnage, but he's turned it round. And any club looking at Gary O'Neill will say, that is a coach, because he has turned him round. One big hiccup lately, and that was with Coventry in the FA Cup. But hey, things like that happen. But United are going to look not just at Gary O'Neill, they're going to look at other coaches and everything. Every asset of the club is being looked at. So it's not a surprise to me that someone like Gary O'Neill, his name's coming out there. Would it be good to get him in there? To be honest with you...
Listen, we've mentioned quite a lot, though, on our videos, and a lot of people out there that under Ineos, the way we're being led to believe is they want best in class. Now, is Gary O'Neill best in class in a coaching setup going forward at Manchester United?
I'm not saying he's best in class. I think what's coming out with the story, and like I said before, you'll get many more stories like this. Brailsford and the rest of the team are looking at things and looking at coaches, and it's right that they look at people like Gary O'Neill. I'm not saying he's best in class. What I'm saying is Gary O'Neill, bright future ahead of him. He's seen that he's turned Wolverhampton Wanderers round, playing football, attacking football. Everything looks good for Wolverhampton Wanderers now, especially when you look at the previous management, what went on there. So it is right that they look at him. He is not best in class. He's not managed or he's not coached for the top teams and everything. But his learning curve, where he's come from, Bournemouth, then Wolverhampton Wanderers, hey, looks good to me.
Why would a manager of a Premier League football club, though, then want to go and move into the background setup of another football club? Yes, it's Manchester United. We always say it's the biggest, best club in the world, but why would you want to then go into a coaching setup?
But that's not us or the report saying Gary O'Neill wants to come to Manchester United. What it is, it's Manchester United looking at other assets like Gary O'Neill. Would he really come? In my opinion, I don't think he would come to take a lesser role as a coach. He'd have to bring his coaching staff with him. I don't think he would leave them at Wolverhampton Wanderers. They're his team. They're instructed to do what he wants on the football field, and they're turning it around for Wolverhampton Wanderers. So he's got a team with him. But I don't see a Premier League manager leaving to become a coach at any other Premier League club. Doesn't make sense. He's got a stepping stone, and he will get better jobs if he continues on that path now. But it's a story, and we'll see more of them coming out. And it's right that Manchester United go out there and keep looking. I mean, if you look at what United have got, end of the season, they'll make decisions. United have got a lot to go for here. They've got the Champions League place to keep pushing at and hopefully get there. That's what United are hoping, and they're in an FA Cup final. So
semi-final.
In the semi-final, and then hopefully to get to a final at the end of the season. But the thing is, they have to keep looking. They have to keep doing the due diligence, and then the decisions will be made when all the proper people in, like your Dan Ashworth and all that, they're all in place, and then in the summer it will be made. But they've got to do the work now. And Gary O'Neill is just one of many, many people in the coaching role and managerial role that they're looking at when they assess it at the end of the season, exactly where they are with Erik ten Hag and the coaching staff and all the other departments in the club.
Should we wrap it up there?
No. No.
Yeah, just going to go into the chat. Craig Tibbs says, this smells of undermining Erik ten Hag. The manager should pick his stuff, the team and tactics. If they succeed, then he gets the pat on the back. Fall, he gets the bullet. Simple as that. Do you see it the same way as Craig?
No, I don't see it as undermining the manager. I think what you have to look at is actually look. That's a Jim Ratcliffe. He's come in. He's going to change things round. He's going to look at all aspects of the club, and he wants best in class. And it is right that he looks around at different aspects of where the club's at. If you look, okay, are we surprised by stories like this? No, we're not. But at the end of the day, you have to give to Jim Ratcliffe and the rest of the team, right, the right shout. They're out there, they're looking, and they're trying to improve. Doesn't mean to say they're going to change things, because at the end of the day, are we surprised by the story? No. Look at Eric Ramsey, right? He's already left. He's in the coaching role. Part-time, he was doing something at Wales, wasn't he?
You mean Eric Ramsey's gone Minnesota as the head coach? Yeah, he was actually the set-piece coach here at Manchester United, from what I was led to believe. He then went to Wales doing the coaching role there, so he's juggling the two jobs between Manchester United and Wales, but then had to come back to Manchester United full-time because he couldn't handle it. But at the end of the day, who allowed him to even do that in the first place? That should be your number one focus right there,
right.
Not another set-up at the national team or any other club.
I agree with you. Well, what do you think Sir Jim Ratcliffe said when he came in? He's looked at the coaching, right? And stories like this are part of the coaching role going forward. Do they need change and all that? Well, he's looked at the Ramsey role and he called him back and said, hey, get to Manchester United. This is where you should be. Well, why did United allow certain people like Eric Ramsey to get a part-time job elsewhere when his focus should have been here at Manchester? So it is chaos in the background of the coaching staff. So stories like this are right, and you're going to hear more and more. And it's not undermining Erik ten Hag. They are doing the job, and quite rightly, looking around at all different aspects. And Eric Ramsey, he knew he was out, because at the end of the day, he should have been full-time at Man United. But the fools what are inside that club before Ratcliffe come in running the football side of it.
Some of them are still there.
Yeah, some of them are still there. Right, but listen, they will be going.
Eric Ramsey should have known he was going to go when...
That's why he's gone.
Look at the set pieces that we've had over the last, let's say, just 2 years, 2 seasons.
And what do you think?
How many set pieces have we had where you look at it and think, wow, what set piece that was?
Yeah, but if we can see that the set pieces...
No corners, free kicks, the lot.
Well, if we can see that nothing's happening in the set pieces, and we've got a coach there, what happens to be in South Wales or North Wales, instead of being here at Carrington, then at the end of the day, Brailsford and everyone's gone, this man's just ain't doing his job. We need to change this. And Eric Ramsey, quite rightly, decided, I'm out of here, and got himself a job in Minnesota.
What, so do you think then, with you just talking about Eric Ramsey, that's then there's a place to fill there then, isn't he, as a coach? So is that why these stories are coming out? Because United are on the lookout? No,
not just for Eric Ramsey. No, they might be changing personnel, what's there, and I expect that. But they might want to improve and build up more quality coaches and everything inside Manchester United. Because at the end of the day, they might look at the coaching side of it and think, this is poor. And in some aspects it is. In some aspects it's not. Listen, I get where people think this story's wrong and all that, but you will get more and more of it. But these people, what are now in charge of the football, have to look at everything and make a decision. can there be improvement? And with people like Gary O'Neill, yes, they can. Will Gary O'Neill want to leave as a Premier League manager? Will Wolverhampton Wanderers want to do a deal with Man United? I very much doubt it. I think they're very lucky, Wolverhampton Wanderers, that they've got a young fella there who's got coaches with him who know how to play football and a proper style, and they've turned it round for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Would you rather have, over Gary O'Neill, Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick come back to the club? Because they took a lot of pelters, them two, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in terms of training tactics.
Would I have Gary? I'd have Gary O'Neill and his coaches. I look at Kieran McKenna and all that, and I think what it is when you look at them and you look at Eric Ramsey and other coaches now, everyone inside that club, and I've said it many, many times, everyone was just looking out for themselves. They were just doing their job. They weren't thinking long-term for Man United. They were all looking out for themselves and couldn't care less about Manchester United as a whole, and that's been the problem. And now I think we're going to see big, big changes, but not yet. But for undermining Erik ten Hag, I don't think it's undermining Erik ten Hag. I think Erik ten Hag is quite clear and understands what's going on, that they're looking around at different things. Listen, Erik ten Hag might have turned around to him and said, I need change here. And they might be acting on behalf of Erik ten Hag. I need this changing, I need that changing. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Them conversations definitely would have gone on. So Brailsford and everyone are out there and they're looking and they're having conversations.
Yeah, A. McGuinness put a chat in earlier on, said, I really don't think Ineos allowing these rumours to propagate helps the team one bit. A statement should be out as a vote of confidence with him perform, and plus a performance review at the end of the season. Got there in the end. I
think statements and stories like this are always coming out. I don't think United will come out there with a statement. I think they'd be out every 48 hours making statements.
Wouldn't it make things worse, though, when you get that so-called dreaded vote of confidence when they do come out in the public arena and back the manager, though? Because how many times have we seen that at football clubs when the chairmans and chief execs do that, and not long after, they get the chop, don't they?
I don't think there's a need to come out and back Erik ten Hag. I think Erik ten Hag knows exactly where he's at. New owners have come in. And as we've said, don't be surprised if new owners come in, end of the season, just have a clear out when they've assessed things. These things happen. So Erik ten Hag doesn't need a vote of confidence. And I don't see why he needs a vote of confidence. It's not as though like he's the Newcastle manager who's under big pressure, but the media are ignoring him. It's not like the Chelsea manager who's under big pressure, but the media are ignoring him. We all know, Erik ten Hag knows, Sir Jim Ratcliffe knows, this is Manchester United. Pile on, pile on, pile on. And every 48 hours, Sir Jim Ratcliffe or somebody inside the club would have to be coming out with a statement and backing either Erik ten Hag or denying this, denying that. It's Manchester United. It's what we expect. And at the end of the day, some of these stories you just have to take with a pinch of salt.
We done a video on Monday in regards to Southgate, and it was the same reporter who was putting out the articles about Gareth Southgate being linked to the manager's job at Manchester United. He's doing the same thing again now. But I did see something earlier on today from David Ornstein, and to me, he's better than most of the rest out there in reporting on Manchester United. And he said that he's very well connected in Manchester United with a lot of his stories, Mark Ogden.
Well, you
let me know out there, because I'm sure there's a lot more people out there who see his tweets, see him on YouTube channels, etc. So let me know what you actually think of his stories and his reports, if they are true most of the time. But
listen, any reporter, even Ornstein, you have to take with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Listen, when you look at these so-called good reporters in the media, and
is he just backing it like one of the boys' club, so to speak, and the journalists?
Look. 14 months ago, he said, we're about to be taken over by the Qataris.
Said that?
Ornstein.
I think a lot of them did as well, didn't they?
They all did. So this is what you have to judge them on. This might happen, and they come up with a good story. Ogden's done the same with this. But you can't dismiss that Manchester United are out there looking at coaches of the quality of Gary O'Neill. You can't dismiss it.
So you can't dismiss then that Brailsford, Ineos are then looking for managers as a potential replacement for Eric Ten Hag then, because if you take yourself back to under Solskjaer, there was no plan there for another manager to come in once they sacked him, and hence we're getting Ralph Rangnick. And we know, well, we all remember how that turned out. So there always does then need to be a plan for every situation then, surely. So some of these reports that are coming out, let's say about Southgate and other managers, there might actually be a little bit of truth to it.
Not really. There might be a little bit of truth, but we don't know. Time will tell on that. But if you look back at the people in charge of Manchester United and you say no plan, no plan from complete idiots. They sacked Ollie, no plan. Yeah. Idiots, didn't know what they were doing. You know, individuals, they weren't working as a group for the long-term benefit of United. Brailsford, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, a lot of money pumping into the club. That they know what they're doing, and at the end of the day, they're looking at long-term. And they will be looking. And like I said, United have got a lot to go for. So when they're looking at managers, and quite rightly, they will look at managers. I expect them to look at managers. I don't expect them just to sit there and accept what Eric Ten Hag is doing. And they will look and they will have a debrief and then they'll say, right, this is where we've ended up at the end of the season. Is Eric Ten Hag good enough going forward? They will look at that at the end of the season. That's what I expect them to do. I don't want Eric Ten Hag to go. I think he deserves another year. But then it's all down to Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his team.
How would you feel, though, if you're Eric Ten Hag? I don't know the ins and outs of this, whether the story is even true, obviously. But you being the manager, would you want the overall say on a coach coming in to work alongside you? Surely you would, because to me, this report, it's as though like it's Ineos Brailsford who are actually going out there trying to like sound out coaches or potential coaches to come into Manchester United. But you as a manager, surely you'd want the final say on that, or your first choice pick, you want to come in to work with you.
Well, unfortunately, we're not privy to the conversations inside Manchester United. And I go back to what I said a couple of minutes ago. Eric Ten Hag might be involved, right, in the discussions about what he needs, right, to add to his team. And by talking to people like Gary O'Neill or looking at people like Gary O'Neill and other coaches around Europe and around the world, right, Eric Ten Hag might be part of this conversation. And Eric Ten Hag has already said he's part of the conversation for the summer transfer. So why wouldn't he be part of the conversation of things like this, what are coming out, these stories about coaches being brought to United? It's not. I don't think it's saying, my understanding, it's not saying he's going to replace anybody. He just might be brought in, people like Gary O'Neill, the quality of what's out there, to be brought in to add to what Eric Ten Hag's got. So don't try and think, oh, Eric Ten Hag doesn't know anything about this. I think Eric Ten Hag is quite aware of what is going on and what's needed for the club and is in full discussions. When Eric Ten Hag turned around a couple of months ago and says he is looking and working with Ineos, right, planning for the transfers in the summer, then at the end of the day, he will be involved in other aspects of what's going on. So to me, the story is there. Maybe Gary O'Neill is a bit far-fetched, but it's the type of person Man United will be looking for. Is he top class? I'm not sure he's top class yet. He's not got the CV for it, but you can see what he's doing and the quality is what he's got. Should be a shoo-in.
Well, the type of football he's playing at Wolves, you know, at the start of the season, everyone expected really Wolves to be favourites to go down this season.
No, that's
They're
true.
in a really poor place, and
yeah,
you know, from when I've watched him, you know, they're a team that I don't mind watching. Whereas in the past, before Gary O'Neill, it was always a time where I just used to switch the TV off if Wolves were on, no matter who they were playing.
Gary O'Neill, if you looked at Gary O'Neill and you'd say, where would he go, right? Would he come to Manchester United and have a role as a coach? Well, listen, if I was looking at Gary O'Neill, I'd think to myself, do you know what? I could get that West Ham job. Honest to God, I could get that West Ham job, turn it round. Yeah. You know, we know David Moyes builds a brick wall at the back. Bringing in someone like Gary O'Neill at West Ham, that would be perfect for him. So I think his stepping stone is in management. He's got the team behind him, right? And taking that to somewhere like West Ham, that's the stepping stone. To me, it's a backward step, coming and working under a manager in the Premier League. He has got a long way to go, and I very, very, very much doubt that his eyes are on Manchester United, and I very much doubt that Wolverhampton Wanderers would even consider getting rid of him.
Steph, cheers for keeping a note on the view counts and likes, much appreciated. And Marcus said in the chat as well, maybe Ten Hag has said something to Ineos, you know, put the feelers out there to, you know, see if Gary O'Neill would be available.
Well, it's not I won't put it that way, that he's put it to Ineos. I think he's in full discussion.
Well, in our terms.
In our terms,
My terms.
Yeah, I'd be absolutely shocked that if Erik Ten Hag did not know what was going on in the football club. He is in charge of the football. He's playing. He's got the FA Cup semi-final, hopefully a final, and we can be running around with the FA Cup. And he's also got a fight on for the Champions League. All management now will be talking about all aspects of the club, and he will be centre of all them discussions.
Yeah, Marcus also said we have coaches that have been at Manchester United since 2016. I hope we do an overhaul of the coaching system under Erik Ten Hag.
Look, I've been critical of that coaching staff. Listen, you look at people, they've been jumped over, they've been there, it's stale, you don't know what's going on, nothing's improving. If you talk about football and coaches, you want a style of football. And some people will say, well, we've had loads of injuries and that, but at the end of the day, we haven't got a style, we're not doing this. Yeah, it can be this year a little bit tricky, but the coaches need removing a lot of them. When you've got people like Eric Ramsey, who's got a part-time job with Wales, that is a disgrace. You should have full focus on Man United.
Yeah, well, he's left now. He's gone to Minnesota as the head coach over there. No idea what he's doing over there, how it's going for him. But anything to add before we go? Yeah,
I've looked at news there. Martinez came back a little bit early, went out to the Argentinian squad. He's missed 7 games. So I'm hoping, and I think Erik Ten Hag will be hoping as well, that he is in the squad for this weekend's game at Brentford. So it's fingers crossed for Martinez. I'm not saying he should start, but I'm thinking Erik Ten Hag will get him in the squad. I think he'll be out training this week and we'll know in the next few days. So that's something good news. Went out there, went with the squad. So coming back, and I think he'll be just getting a bit of light work done now. So hopefully he's in that squad.
Yeah, a bit of light work.
Dango as well.
Dango is injured, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately. I looked at Dango, went to Port Vale and got injured in January. I mean, he looked good for United. There was lots.
He signed a contract not long ago. Was it last summer he signed a new contract, Dango, as well? So he's highly thought of in the club.
Yeah, well, his performances, they look promising for next year. It looks as though there was another kid there coming through what will progress. So they put him out on loan at Port Vale. Now, in January, he got an injury, but when that injury come, they weren't too worried about it, and they expected him back at the beginning of March. It's now come out that he's expected to miss the rest of the season. Now, Erik Ten Hag will be bitterly disappointed with that, and I'm disappointed at it because I did like what I've seen from Dango, future United player, pushing his way into the squad next year. That's how I've seen it. But to be out till the end of the season, bitterly disappointing for him, and I think it'll be a big setback for him, especially with like Ineos in there now and all the changes coming in. He'll be out on the sideline, so that's a shame for Dango.
Yeah, just to finish off in a comment in the chat, Richie says, Ten Hag garbage peddled by the journalist banned from the press conferences. I expect Ten Hag to be at MUFC for at least next season and given a chance under Ineos. And I thought I'd read that out because that sums up my own opinions perfectly.
Yeah, well, we expect Erik Ten Hag. We want Erik Ten Hag there for his final season, and then let's see what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Let's hope it's not his final season. He should be
of his contract. I meant, he's got another year of his contract. I want him to run that out. I think he's had a terrible time on and off the field. Lots of things going on.
Wait a minute. You're making it sound as though you just want him here until the end of his contract. Do you want him to actually...
No, I didn't. No,
That's how it's coming across.
No, I said he's got another year of his contract. I want him to get it there, and then I want the discussions to go on, and I want him to do well next season and take Man United on forward and further. So I'm hoping that he does well next year, takes him on, and then gets a new contract. But at the end of the day, we've all got to wait and see, haven't we? I want him to stay, and I think he deserves to stay because I think he's had a terrible time on and off the field with what's gone on. Not just in this season. I think a lot of it happened also last season, and he did well this season.
Jam United said, I won't read the first bit, but he says about Martinez, what's he doing with Argentina when he hasn't even played for, what is it, 7 games you said?
No, 7 games he's missed.
Is that really to keep up maybe with training, be a part of a group again, instead of just training here at Carrington with maybe a fitness coach?
I think if you look at it at Carrington there, a lot of the players, most of the squad, would have just disappeared all over the world. With their international games and all that. So Martinez coming in, having a little bit of jog around, just thought, right, well, I'm off. That's how I see it. Invited himself into the squad.
I think Luke Shaw's done the same as well, hasn't he, with England?
Yeah, Luke Shaw just had a little wander. But Luke Shaw, throughout his time at Manchester United, has always gone wandering. He just seems to disappear every now and again. But Martinez, I think, did the right thing. Went out there, seen a lot of mates, enjoyed the football, and got a bit of training in, and came back a few days early to get ready. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's a proper detailed report on what Martinez has been up to.
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I am. I'm getting better at this game.
Yeah, if ESPN are watching, there's someone here to take over Mark Ogden's job. But hopefully there's no one out there to take over my job, because there was some tech issues earlier on with the microphone. So apologies for that. But
that was my fault. I'd actually forgot to put the mics on charge. But hey.
Yeah, I flicked it over, so I saved the day.
Saved the day.
Saved the day. But I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today. Some great discussions, to be honest, with your opinions in the chat today about everything that we've discussed. If you'd like to carry on, get your comments in underneath the video. And if you want to support the channel, you've enjoyed it, just leave a like on the video. It's much appreciated, as always, Reds. We'll be back tomorrow. I think it's about time. We've got Premier League football this weekend. Saturday, I need to do a match preview, talk about the game on Saturday. So hopefully you can come and join us there and get your opinions in. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.